Have you ever felt wronged? Have you or your property been harmed in any way? Have you ever felt that your legal rights were invaded?
Yes.
Well then, you've come to the right video. Sit down, relax, and grab something to drink as we discuss torts. So, what exactly is a tort? The term tort originates from the Latin word tortum, which means wrong. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, a tort is defined as a wrongful act other than a breach of contract for which relief may be obtained in the form of damages or an injunction.
Huh?
Well, simply put, a tort is a civil wrong. The law of torts developed almost entirely in the common law courts. That is, the courts have established rules that govern the conduct of individuals through thousands of cases.
Order in the court!
To make this easier to understand, let's visualize tort law as a tree. Trees help keep our air clean and our ecosystems healthy. Similarly, the tort system remedies certain wrongs and limits crooked conduct and practices, making our society in general a better place. The roots of a tree are especially important since they are the foundation for the tree and help keep it straight and stable. Similarly, there are 4 basic elements or roots to tort law. These are duty, breach of duty, causation, which is mainly applicable for unintentional torts, and harm. Duty means that the defendant owed a legal duty to the plaintiff under the circumstances. The breach of that duty occurs when the defendant acts or fails to act in a certain way. Causation, on the other hand, means that it was the defendant's actions or inaction that actually caused the plaintiff's injury. Lastly, harm means that the plaintiff was harmed or injured as a result of the defendant's actions. Once you have these roots established, a tree trunk is formed. In other words, once you have your 4 basic elements established, then you have tort law. Now, from this trunk or tort law, we have different branches. Each branch represents a different type of tort. In total, there are 3 different types of torts, and these are intentional torts, negligent or unintentional torts, and strict liability torts. Intentional torts arise from intentional acts, whereas unintentional torts often result from carelessness. Strict liability torts, by contrast, may be imposed on a party without a finding of fault. The claimant only needs to prove that the tort occurred and that the defendant was responsible. The law imputes this tort to situations it considers to be inherently dangerous. Clearly, each branch or category has different characteristics. For this reason, like any tree, each branch has its own leaves. These leaves represent any differences, examples, or information that pertains to its branch or type of tort. For instance, some of the most common leaves for intentional torts include, and you can pause the video here to read the definitions, assault and battery, false imprisonment, defamation, disparagement of property, intentional infliction of emotional distress, fraud, invasion of privacy, and misuse of legal procedure. People often confuse assault and battery. The main difference between these 2 torts is that while battery involves actual physical contact, for example, someone punching you, assault does not. Assault could be any threat, show of force, or movement that causes fear, for example, someone pointing a gun at you. On the other hand, an important leaf or aspect for unintentional torts is the element of causation, or proximate cause.
That's one of the roots.
Correct. As we explained before, this basic element is necessary for unintentional torts only. Lastly, a leaf, or example, for strict liability torts is strict product liability, which is most encountered in business. Strict product liability occurs when an article is placed into the stream of commerce which causes injury because it is in a defective condition or is unreasonably dangerous. Back in September 2nd of 2016, Samsung issued a product recall for one of their newest cell phone offerings, the Note 7. According to the safety recall, a manufacturing error caused a defect, which made the phones potentially dangerous to use. The defect resulted in the battery overheating, which in turn led to the smartphones exploding. Lawsuits were filed, including a man who suffered severe burns after the phone exploded in his pocket, and another who suffered second and third degree burns after a different model, the Galaxy S7 Edge, caught on fire in his pocket. Clearly, this was an example of strict product liability. I hope this video helped you to understand the basic concept of torts and tort law. Keep in mind the tort tree. The 4 roots, which are duty, breach of duty, causation and harm, the trunk, which is basically tort law, the branches, which include intentional torts, negligent torts, and strict liability torts, as well as the leaves, which is basically different aspects and examples of each type of tort. Thank you for watching.